Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about marketing your music business. You have a band, whatever, you want to get famous, specifically by running Spotify ads or any other ads. I'll also talk a little bit about, YouTube ads as well, which is a very great place to advertise, to make money, to blow up a business. But Spotify ads is even better. It's the best place you can actually advertise, as far as I still know, in the music business, to get a band organic growth. Because that's what ultimately ads are about. Get awareness, grow that awareness to start turning it into actual money. Most of the musicians that want to grow a band are doing it by trying to get like word of mouth going, and unless you're like the best thing since sliced bread, you're not gonna be successful doing that by itself. You need to artificially create a system to get awareness specifically to the people that care about what you have and will appreciate what you have. Because when you're just relying on word of mouth, that doesn't penetrate there's an exact type of person, 1% of the public, who would love your stuff. Well, how do you get to that 1%? Well, some people know a person that's also in the 1%, but that's usually not a good enough of a method to just bank on that. And they want to not spend any money and hope this all happens automatically. Just having good music is not by itself enough. You got to have a plan woven in with what you're doing to make your music awesome. Music still has got to be awesome, but in and itself, it's not enough. This is where ads comes in. There's a way to run your ads profitably so that the money you're investing into ads will actually go into making you money that then you can use to finance more ads, and so on and so on and so on. Which is where these other people, I've seen other videos on on YouTube, where people are talking about running Spotify ads, again, sorry about that. And they don't talk about the business side. They just say, oh, here's how to run a Spotify ad. This is how many viewers listeners on my song or streams that I got on through my ad. And that doesn't tell you whether or not that is going to turn into money so you could pay for your next round of ads, because very few of you guys have money to just run unlimited ads and hope something happens. That's not even basically how most businesses grow. Most people that start out businesses, which growing a band is just another business, they don't have a loan or investor funds. They bootstrap it, they grow it with the revenue that the business generates at the beginning. You have to figure out a system that could turn $1 into $2, then turn that into 4, 8, and so forth. I've got a fantastic system for you to be able to do that using the Spotify ads, and the system specifically where we work with a musician, provided him the insight and the wherewithal to put this system into place, and effectively is using the money that the listeners that are acquired through the ads is generated to then finance more ads and become a name in the local area, or a much greater name than they were. So again, it wouldn't work if you have shitty music, but if you got good music and your problem is you just don't have you don't have enough people that are aware of you yet, this system right here is foolproof. I'm confident enough to say that. And if you can't get it to work, reach out to me afterwards directly, and I'll give you some basic guidance to get it to go in the general right direction without any fees at all. So I'm not in the music industry, but I'm an ad expert, and I understand how to run ads, and I understand how to set up sales funnels, which is what you need to be successful running ads for a music business. So I'll get right into the content here. So making money from getting advertising revenue share on Spotify mostly is a non-starter. It's just like on YouTube. If you're it's the same kind of stupid thinking occurs there, where I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I'm going to make money from the advertising revenue share that Google gives you for views and the ads that are running on YouTube. Well, that's not going to make you a significant amount of money until you've got like 1 million subscribers. Well, what do you do to finance the growth of the actual channel until you got that first 1 million subscribers? There is nothing. So then it's going to be really, really hard to do everything you need to get it to 1 million subscribers. So you can't bridge that gap. Well, the same thing occurs trying to make money in a music business off of the advertising share you get, revenue share that you get from Spotify directly. It's another revenue stream that artists have, but in and itself is not good enough to make money, and if that's all you're trying to do, you're gonna lose, basically. You have to incorporate other things that have where you can get you a lot of money per fan to then use that, so you can have actual money coming in to finance the growth of your business. So real brands that are able to grow a band or music business through running ads do it by using the ads to get famous, and then their fame turns into money in other ways, namely by local shows, because that gets you a lot of revenue per fan on a localized basis, because you get paid a decent amount for gigs at bars or, you know, smaller venues that don't host 5,000 people, you know, have 5,000 people there, but, you know, has 500 people. And they always are looking for artists. They're looking for artists that have a following already, because if I own a bar or I own a small venue like that, I don't want just anybody. I don't even want somebody that's good music. Of course, that's also something that's important, but the holy grail is somebody who has great music, who also has a cult following and it's hot right now. So the people that I have come in already have a pre-built audience and people that are going to come in, so that they're not going to have any problem filling out their bar for that night. They don't have to do much advertising on their own. Just the fact that they advertise that you're going to be there, the place is filled anyway, and they're going to sell a shitload of drinks, which means you could get paid a decent amount for your time. And all you got to have is a little bit of notoriety in your local area, and that notoriety can be displayed rather easily to a bar owner that has the need for local artists on an ongoing basis. So in other words, you use the advertising to get the notoriety, and then you monetize the notoriety through the local shows that you can play. And then as you get more notoriety, the more money that you can ultimately make, which then goes into being able to fund. More notoriety brings in more money, that money can be turned into run more ads, which then turns into more notoriety, and it's a system that self-perpetuates. You're trying to create a self-perpetuating system, and then that's built by creating a sales and marketing funnel for your business. You treat your music business like an actual business. So to give you a specific example of this, we had a client, like I mentioned, that I was going to cover here in today's video, that was running Spotify ads, and they didn't have almost any of this system that I mentioned. That if I were running a music business and trying to promote it, not being an ad expert, having managed and run advertising campaigns in about 5 different business verticals, and understanding what works, what doesn't work, you know, starting from at whatever level you're starting at, whether you're starting with $0, you're already making 10, you know, 20, 30, 50 million a year. There's always a way to get to the next stage. And the strategies vary based upon where you're starting out. So if you don't have much notoriety yet, and this also, you know, basically is the same thing if you already have some notoriety, but what I advised them to do and helped them to do was to first start out. So this is the exact system. In other words, this is what I would recommend you to do to get ads to build an actual business for you, so you can actually finance the growth of your notoriety and the amount of money you're making through the ads itself. So the first thing you're going to do is, like we had with this guy and his band, was to find out the parallel band/songs that people like the most that also like your music. Pandora has an engine that recommends songs. Like if you like this song, they know, their algorithm knows that you like this song because they try it with other people, and if a lot of people don't click skip when they play the one song after another song, then they know people like this song like the other song. So if you are big enough where you could do this type of thing through Pandora to find out which songs specifically line up one-to-one with the songs you have, then you're good. If not, you just run simply an audit of your current fans, and you asked ask several hundred of your fans. And it's manual work, but it's worth it to get this going. What other bands do you like? What other songs do you like? What other songs and bands do you like that are like our music specifically? Why do you like these other bands? And then start, ultimately asking all these questions to find out, okay, we know most of our fans, more than any other music, like this song here. And it may not because it doesn't sound like your song. What you really just want is, what's music that people like that has the highest probability that they're also going to like our music. This is the exact same thing we do to market basically any other product or service out there. I want to know, when I'm selling a broom, what's the most common products that people buy that also buy a broom? What is it? And what is this? And I want to then sell my broom to people that bought this other product, because statistically, we know, instead of just marketing to everybody, we're marketing to the people that we know has the highest likelihood of liking what we're offering to them. Because the whole thing with online ads is, if you show an ad to somebody who's not interested, you're actually paying for what they call waste circulation. The higher the click-through rate on your ad, indicating that the person likes your ad and what's offered, the lower your cost per viewer / click is going to be. So your goal is to only show your ad to people who like what you have. And to do that, you have to find out who likes your product or service. And in order to do that, you have to, the usual easiest way is to find out what other ancillary traits that the people have that like your music also have. What they buy. Sometimes if they have to buy what you have multiple times, it's people who buy what you already offer, and because they have to buy it again, you're just going to sell it to them again. Whatever, you get the general principle I'm trying to convey here. Well, because once you have all that, you can then make a little riff or segment of special audio track, if you will, and overlay this message here, which is, if you like X, you're going to love Y. So once you find out that most people, more than anything, like this band here, that in terms of our fans, the most common other band they like is this band here. Well, then you have a Spotify ad show up for people listening to that band. And then a message laid over top of it that says, if you like X, you're gonna love Y. You can actually play, your a sample of your song on this video ad, or this audio ad, basically. Sorry, and do it that way, or you could just not have your music on there and just have this message, so that they know they have to click on your ad to understand what it is that you're being offered to them. Because when you tell me, if I love chocolate, and you tell me, if you love chocolate, you're gonna love XYZ, I'm gonna click because I'm interested. Wow, I want to know what this is. That kind of curiosity is what you're trying to pique in your users with your ads, so that they absolutely have to click. They want to click. And then, but without the prior and proper pre-research to find out which songs you should show up on, your cost per view or cost per stream, as they call it, views over 30 seconds, is going to be too high or not. You want your cost per stream to be like 5 cents, so you can get the most bang for your buck. And so you want to be as relevant as possible here, and for the ad to actually be true. We already know our fans love XYZ band the most. So if you love this band, you're going to love our band, and you can come here to check it out. Then you have that show up for people listening to that other band. And what you do is you send people to a playlist of your songs, not on Spotify though, which I've seen other people recommend, on your actual website. If you don't have a website, you get it, but you create a custom landing page on your website that has a playlist itself and a audio player, so they can listen to the songs. And with that, you also advertise in the sidebars, at the bottom of the page, the top of the page, like all over, around essentially this playlist and an audio player. your upcoming shows that you're about to do. And the ads are only going to show up on Spotify unless these people are near where those actual upcoming shows that you have are. So if you're playing at you've locked down a gig at a bar, have your ads only show up within 5 miles of that bar. Because it's not that hard to convince somebody to come into a bar that's 2 miles away from where they live. It's not that much of an ask. Plus, they're going to go to a bar that, 2 weekends from now anyway. Might as well go to this one that has a band playing that is in the same genre of music that I already like. It's like a perfect match here of what all the best advertising. That's how it really works. You find somebody who absolutely loves your product, you figure out who that person is, and then you get your ad in front of them, because that's what's going to be super efficient and get the ads to pay for themselves. So certain people that are listening to the music while they're listening, wonder what this is. They see that you're going to be playing locally at a local bar that they probably already go to or know of, and you could sell the tickets on your website for the bar. And naturally, if you could sell the tickets for the bar itself, the bar is going to love you. And once you actually are able to, because you're buying ads and you got the sales funnel taking people off of Spotify to your page to get awareness for your upcoming show, that upcoming show is going to be filled, and you should have no problem booking again with that same bar over and over again. Not to mention, you can use that same experience to sell other venues on having them book you as well. Specifically because, by the way, on the website itself, it tracks all the users that go to your website and land on that playlist landing page, if you will. And it tells how many people who want to buy a ticket from that playlist page that you had. And you could actually mention the other bar that got booked, and you could explain the whole thing. I've got a system here that basically guarantees that a booking will get filled. Because we run ads on Spotify in the local area, we get people to come to our site to listen to music, and then they see the tickets there, and like 1% buy a ticket. And this is a foolproof system, and if you have us, you're going to get booked too. So you don't have to do any convincing. You do this in a form of like a mini case study explaining exactly what they're going to get by paying you to go and play at their venue, and then you'll have no problem getting other gigs. Ultimately, once you got this going, you can start to raise your price to play at these gigs each time you get a gig, or like when you get a reasonable amount of traction. I would recommend, other people are doing this, but every additional gig that you do, try to raise the price of what you're asking for that gig. I know some people will try to say, we pay this. But if you got this system that guarantees booking, and you got, again, people, going back to the beginning of this conversation here with you, the bars want somebody with a built-in following. This all proves it to them. So you have some leverage here. You asked for 5% more than you asked the previous time, and then you use that extra money to then spend more money than you did the previous 2 weeks or previous month on more Spotify ads. And then with the more Spotify ads that you run, the more, the higher the ticket price could be for the venue, or the bigger the venue you're going to be able to fill up, which allows you to then charge even more money and start getting into bigger venues and so forth. You see how this is a self-perpetuating system now? You created a sales funnel that takes somebody who's not heard of you, knows of you, wants to get you to know you more because it's convenient because you're local, and they heard you and they know who you are, you're at a local bar, and they'll want to come in, and then use that evidence of you to be able to fill a venue out to sell a bigger bar, which you take that additional money, you put it back into your system here, which then allows you to fill out a bigger bar because you're running more ads, you're going to get more tickets sold. That's just how it is. So that's the entire system right here. That's just absolutely gold for trying to get a band to grow in terms of notoriety and then turning that into additional money. Now I know some of you guys are saying, well, I don't have any gigs. We're too small now. Well, I would just say, if it were me, I'm going to work a job and save my money until I can run my first $3,000 worth of ad spend. Because to run Spotify ads for a certain music genre in a 5-mile radius of a bar, to get some additional data so that you could go to, you could go to a bar and say, we'll play for free. And then run this, put the money into the ad spend on Spotify, fill it. Once you've already done one, you can sell all others and not have to do it for free again. So you only have to do it for free the first time. And then you need some seed money to get the ads going for the first venue that you try filling. And so $3,000 is more than enough to, within a 5-mile radius, to blast that genre and the bands that are, match up the closest to yours to get that thing filled. It'll run non-stop for the next, 4 weeks before you play, and will certainly get people in the door. So you only got to just do this once. Just save up some money and start it. And people will obviously say yes if you're willing to do it for free, considering they usually have to pay people. So if you come in and say, I'll do it for free, just because we want to get a case study going showing that we can fill the venue, they'll gladly do it. They'll take you over the other people, as long as it's a small venue where normally they don't get the benefit of getting bands that can fill out a bigger venue. Because they don't play there, it's because it's a small gig. So, the other thing here is the people that come to your website to listen to the music from your Spotify ads. You can run remarketing ads, okay? Which is ads that show up for people after they've been to your webpage, but only if they've been to your webpage there. So you can have it through Google Ads and through Google Display Network. You can have banner ads show up on other websites that they go to, on millions of different websites that they might visit. In that, they hit your playlist page, and you can dictate that if they've been on the playlist page for over a minute, which you know that they now like you, you can have banner ads show up for them after they leave for the next 4 weeks leading up to your gig, saying, XYZ bar is going to have us playing. It's only $3 per ticket. Click here to get your ticket. The tickets are going fast. They aren't going to last. And then just have that ad show up for them again and again over the next 30 days leading up to the event, so you can get the maximum amount of tickets sold. And it literally costs 1 penny to have a banner ad like that with that message on it show up for somebody who's been to your playlist landing page for over a minute. So essentially, every single person who's listened over a minute can have the ad shown to them 100 times for $1. And you may find out that in order to sell a ticket at an effective enough rate to pay for the cost of those banner ads, they have to have listened for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. But you'll find it, and through testing, you'll figure it out where it's worth following these people up with your banner ads, where it's not, where the sweet spot is, and then from now on, every other event where you run these ads with this sales funnel attached, you'll know how to maximize the ticket sales from the people that you had to pay to know about you to get the actual ticket sold with those people as well. So it's a very clever system to get somebody from totally don't knowing you to knowing you, and doing it in a relatively short period of time, and all done through not stuff that's not repeatable, or it's iffy, or may not happen, or whatever, that it's guaranteed to happen because you got Shopify wants your money. They're not going to shut you off. Once you find out this system pays once, you can do it 1,000 times for the next 1,000 gigs, and it'll work the same way pretty much every time. Of course, things change over time, but the general idea is online advertising, you get a sales funnel that works, you'll be able to run it for the next 10 years, and you'll make millions upon millions upon millions off of it, because once it works once, it'll work 1,000 times. That's everything you do at the beginning to get it to work once. The money, it pays for itself 1,000 times over when you do it 999 times more in the future. So, because a lot of people get stuck in the upfront saying, oh, it's going to cost $3,000 and I don't know if it will work. Maybe it won't work exactly quite the way that you want. You got to make some tweaks and then it'll work. But the reward is so great when you get it to work where it pays for itself. The cost of the ads, was made up by the cost of or what you got from getting paid from the gig. That you make so much money on the back end. How could you not? The reward's so great that you can't pass it up. And for that matter, if you go into it thinking, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this work, you will make it work. You'll do it. It may fail right away. You make this tweak, it does a little better. You make that tweak, it does a little better. Then you eventually figure out how to get it to perform the way that you do, and then it works then on without any thought. A lot of people they think that if it doesn't work right away, oh, it doesn't work. And that's not how running ads and creating sales funnels work. You do it, it might get half the results you want. You figure out, okay, instead of doing this headline, I do this, that, and that changes it completely. And if you don't know how to set up a sales funnel, because you don't know this technical crap, you reach out to our firm, and we'll set it up for you just like we did for the other guy. Of course, it's going to cost you some money, but ultimately, this could be the one thing that changes whether or not you go nowhere or you make this an entire career out of your music business. One sales funnel fixes everything, legitimately. It's the cure-all for not having sales and not having revenue coming into a business, for the most part, if you can just find one that works for your business. Ultimately, though, summing that all up, okay, here's the caveat to it. If you do this, of course, the paid ads will carry a crappy band for the most part. But if your organic growth of the organic views you get on Spotify once you start doing this doesn't accelerate with the increase in ad spend, you're probably a non-viable business. So if you're getting 100 listens a day on your song on Spotify, and you're getting 100 playbacks a day, and you end up now able to spend $50 a day on Spotify ads, and now after doing that you're only getting 130 playbacks a day, which is still some growth. You should be getting more organic playbacks than, or should I say that you should be growing your organic growth should be growing about the same rate in which your ad spend is growing. If you really have something in terms of, I don't want to say talent, but because it's not about that, it's about having something that the public wants and that there's a need for, if you will. So it won't polish a turd, in other words. This works 10 times better, everything I covered here today, if what you have is legitimately, when people hear it, they love it. Because this ad spend then just basically fuels the organic growth of your business. And at a certain point, you don't even need the ads anymore. It's just to jumpstart things, even though it can pay for it, it pays its own way, if you will, like I said. So you really know you have something when the ad spend and the organic views, or playbacks, sorry, kind of go up together in parallel. And that if you got something good that's truly good that the market wants, you'll get that. And that's the other main benefit out of doing all of this system, is you're doing something, because you could spend on ads and that'll get your growth to go, but you can't afford money for ads, so how do you get your organic growth to go up? Well, you find a way to get the paid ads to pay for themselves, i.e. the system I gave you, and then your organic growth comes free. You've created a system to grow your band organically for free, and at some point it takes on a life of its own. The ads are a second afterthought here. So anyway, I just thought I would add that piece in there. There's a funny, I'm a Sopranos fan, there's a funny part on the episode on Sopranos where Christopher's trying to get into the music business, and the episode's called "A Hit's a Hit." You hear a hit when you hear it, and you ultimately, if people hear your music and they're not saying, "Oh, this is awesome," you're not getting that on a regular basis. There's probably not a lot of lifespan in what you're doing ultimately. So this guarantees exposure, but it's not going to turn into a really fantastic business until you get that going for you as well. A lot of that, like I said, comes down to getting in front of the right audience. This gets you in front of the right audience. So once you do this and you're still not getting that, it's a sign of the times. It's what you have is temporary, if you will. So anyway, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you got a lot of value from this. Hope you certainly go out and try this for yourself and see how well it works. So if you like the video, I'd appreciate it giving it a like and consider subscribing. There's other ad techniques that I talk about on this channel that can help you also grow your music business, such as YouTube ads, which of course this same kind of system here works for targeting people listening to other bands on YouTube and sending them to your site the same way, which is ultimately also what you want to do. But also there's just other ways to run ads for your business. If you're interested in that, there's great content on this channel about everything to do with running ads properly, coming from somebody who runs, you know, dozens and dozens of ad accounts on an ongoing basis. So it'll tell you everything you need to know about making money with your ads to promote your business. And I also got a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, from, you know, offering the same kind of information coming from myself as well. If you have any questions about anything I covered here today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you're looking for somebody to help you do anything I mentioned here, we guarantee results for our clients. We can guarantee, assuming you have something good to offer, and we are willing to take you on as a client, we'll guarantee you get so much growth in your advertising performance before taking a fee. And so if you're interested in that type of thing, reach out to us. I'll look over your stuff and see if we can try to do something like that together, or in which we'll take a percentage of your sales growth and be your partner to help you run your ads. We do that for several companies and are adding more all the time, where we're partnering directly with companies like that to grow the business, and therefore grow and get paid as a part of the growth of that company. But we also get hired for short-term help as well, which we're also still interested in. So if you're interested in either one of those things, reach out to us and I'll be happy to try to hook you up with that itself, or give you a one-time setup of this type of thing for a one-time fee. We also do this as well. But I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you there to make some money with online ads, and showing you how to do it. See you later.